Hello, my lovely Libras. This is your reading for the week of August 10th. Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, and of course it won't be for everybody. Libra, I love this for you. I absolutely love this for you. What I'm getting as I'm tuning into the Libra collective energy is that sense of you standing on a stage. This is the image I'm getting. That you're standing, you're standing on a stage, but the stage that I'm seeing is the one that I was first on when I was in kindergarten. It's the kind you'd see in a small school with small children. You're standing there and you have your hands like this and you're about ready to speak. And what I'm feeling with this is something I'm used to feeling with the Libra energy, which is a real hesitation to say what you feel and a hesitation to put yourself in the public view when there's a possibility that you might goof or that you might say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing. So because this is like a stage you might see in kindergarten or in preschool, in my day it was kindergarten, you might see that there. So that's what I'm saying is I think this goes back a long way to the kind of silencing you experienced when you were a child. Now the silencing, the interesting thing, Libra, is the silencing isn't something that's always imposed upon you by somebody else saying children are meant to be seen and not heard and, all of that old stuff. But it might just simply be you being in relation to people who had very strong opinions and personalities that were challenging for you. Challenging for you either because you were afraid of their reactions that might be unkind or like mean, nasty, disciplined, bad person, all that kind of stuff. But it might also be that you were around people who you genuinely admired and as a child didn't feel you could keep up with. Or you might have had an older sibling, for example, who was extremely outgoing in a way where you were not, and there was that sense you couldn't compete. So instead what you would do is you would shut up instead of looking like you were trying to get attention. So here's the thing. All those are possibilities and more, but the great thing is what Spirit is showing me is choice. Why not? Who says so? And say what you feel. So this for me says, Libras, many of you are coming into a time now where you're starting to understand the fact that making statements about your choice, it's where your power is. And now part of what they're saying here is that claiming your power can be extremely frightening because in that space then you have to take responsibility for what you feel. And therefore, anybody who might be in contradiction with that gets to take a shot at you, pot shot. And then what do you do with that? Do you stand up for yourself? Are you able to be confident enough to say, and this is what I want? Libra, you come across as quite nervous often because you're thinking a lot. And because you have a very heightened sense of perception in some ways. Heightened sense, that's not exactly what I'm getting. It's not perception so much. You have a heightened sense of being affected by other people's opinions and thoughts. Not always about you, can just be about the situation, but then you're going to want to make it better. You tend to think of yourself as not brave, and you are. You think of yourself as not brave because you're anxious when you do things or because you have to kind of get over hurdles in order to do something, in order to speak your truth, in order to take action on something. The very fact that you do it even though you're feeling anxious means that you're brave, means that you're far stronger than you think you are. And what Spirit is really saying is it's really time now for you to look at what are the faces and the voices that are saying you're not. Some of them may have been placed upon you, but other times it's just you've carried this sense of who you're supposed to be because of this family value system, this person who you loved and who had these values, and so you're trying to emulate those. It can be a lot of different reasons why. But this is where you get to take back your power and make the choices based on yourself. Okay? Choice is always operating. When it's an unconscious choice, it's often motivated by some past experience and is linked to reaction. Habitual behavior is usually an indicator that there are some unconscious choices being made. Bringing your choice to the conscious present gives you the flexibility to choose your choice. Conscious, mindful choice enables you to respond instead of react. And that's so good for you, Libras, because you don't need to be in reaction to other people. When you're in connection with yourself, with what you really feel, with what your personal values are, that's when you get to respond. You're responding out of that place of power. This is where you get in touch with what you feel so that you can say it genuinely. And I think this is important. I'm going to hold that card up in case you want to take a screenshot of it, because the piece that I think might be particularly important for you is this. What emotions do you fake? Understand that faking doesn't have to be conscious or deliberate deceit. Pay attention to whether or not you genuinely feel the emotion you're expressing or believe the thought that you're suggesting. Maybe you partially feel it, but express it as an absolute. Today, notice discrepancies between degrees of feelings and expressions. Notice when you choose socially expected responses rather than what you truly feel. And with that, I would say not just socially expected responses, but the responses that you feel somebody else, not just society, but maybe an individual person would expect. What fear or concern comes up when you say what you really feel? Libra, this is a fantastic, I'm getting many shivers now. This is a fantastic, very empowered reading. And like many of us, we are all getting the idea of where is the restriction coming from? Who do we love or fear that is still in our own psyche holding that in place? And where can we now detach from that and let go of it as being one of our guiding factors? Why not? Who says so? It's up to you to say what you feel and make your choices based on that. And Libra, this is a time of power. I leave you with that. Much love. Thanks for stopping by.